Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Ion Franchise. This episode sponsored by SEO Samba. Empower your franchise with predictable results and AI-driven marketing. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Ion Franchising. I am your host, Lance Graulich, and a lot of people are talking about home care, senior care, in-home care. Who knows what we call it these days, companion care. I represent a lot of home care brands, and here's a really, really good one, and we are lucky. We have the VP of Franchise Development, Miss Jen Chaney from Right at Home. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Thank you for having me, Lance.
I am excited to have you and hear everything about you and Right at Home, of course. So let's start with what did Jen want to be when she grew up, and how'd you end up in franchising and in home care?
Oh, I think if you look back to when I was in elementary school and, you kind of do those back in first grade when your teacher asks you what do you want to be? I believe I said I wanted to be a lifeguard and a mom. So I did accomplish both of those things, but a lifeguard forever, probably not realistic. But
Love it.
I would say that franchising really found me. I did sell residential real estate for about 10 years out of college. And then I had a couple of kids that were both going to be in kindergarten. And so I was going to have a lot of free time on my hands during the day. So I had a friend who was doing all of the marketing for a drive-through coffee franchise. And they said, we're looking for a franchise development professional. Somebody who could do franchise sales. Do you know anybody with sales experience? And he recommended me. And long story short, I took that job and I absolutely loved it. And now I'm here at Right at Home. And oftentimes people in franchise development and franchise sales say this. I really can't imagine doing anything else or having a role outside of franchising in general, just because I really do love it so much.
So what do you like about it? Is it that you get to truly change lives? And because that's what I love about it. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Tell me about what you feel about it.
Yes, well, specifically here at Right at Home, I love having the opportunity to help people become entrepreneurs in a business that is rewarding in so many ways. So that's just one part about my job that I really do love. I love meeting new people. I love the people that I work with here. It's exciting, it's fast paced, it's never dull. I just absolutely love it.
I love it. I love that you love it. So let's dive right into Right at Home. Describe what Right at Home does, all about in-home care, senior care, all these different names associated with this industry.
I call it in-home care and assistance for seniors and adults with disabilities. That is the business model of Right at Home. And what that means is when you become a franchise owner with Right at Home, you purchase a territory. And in that territory, you place an office where it houses your office staff, a place that caregivers can go to pick up paychecks and do training, interviewing. But the bulk of the business happens in individuals' homes and in facilities. Those would be your referral sources. But that's the business model. You hire caregivers, and those caregivers go care for seniors in the place that they are aging gracefully.
There's a lot of people that I think are still confused because they think of assisted living facilities as being such a huge thing today. And maybe they are to some degree, but I try to explain to people that no, it's in-home care. I could tell you my parents are both gone, sadly, my Uncle Bob. And what do they all have in common? They stayed in their homes till the end. And we hired franchise in-home care to come and take care of them. And it was the non-medical portion that, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the biggest piece for Right at Home as well?
By far. I mean, I would say 95% of the business that we do is just personal care. We have a very small percentage of skilled care, nursing type of care.
Yeah. And most of that is self-pay, correct?
That is correct. Yep. And I don't know that I've ever met a senior, Lance, that says, I can't wait to get into a nursing home. They want to stay home. And we are lucky. We're the lucky ones that get to help with that.
Yeah. I remember Sadly, with dad, when he was not doing well, he still wanted his remote control. He
Yeah.
wanted to drink out of his favorite coffee cup in the morning,
Yep.
whatever. It's sad. It's sad, but it's a
Yeah.
necessary service, and that's what's so great about the service. I mean, because
Mhm.
everybody coming to me as a franchise consultant today is, Lance, show me something that is essential, that is needed.
Mhm.
So talk about how many locations do you have? Talk about the investment.
Yes. So what we have, and I'm going to pull up some numbers here. As of present day, we currently have, Lance, we have 399 US operating offices.
What?
So we are one short of 400. That's offices.
Wait, let me go. I'm going to go find that 400th. No, just kidding. I'll go after the podcast.
Okay.
So
So that's
that is
399 offices. We have 543 territories in the United States. Unique owners, we have 286. We
got it.
have, Lance, we have 199 international operating territories. So we're one short. We're super close to hitting some records here.
Yeah.
And we're in a total of 6 countries.
Wow. Pretty pretty incredible. Talk about the investment. What does it cost to get into a territory, and approximately how large is that territory?
Yes. So in order to qualify financially, you need to have at least $150,000 of liquid capital. That's just in general, just to qualify financially. Our franchise fee is 49,500. That's for a single territory agreement. You can buy 2 territories right out of the gate, and if you do that, you get a 25% discount on that second franchise fee. So that's a great incentive that we offer. But you will spend anywhere from, let's see, 88,000 up into about 158,000 to open your first location. And that
Yeah.
includes the franchise fee, first few months of operating capital, but that's what you're looking at as far as an investment.
Yeah, and marketing and all that good stuff.
Yes, yes. And
So
then,
tell me.
sorry, to answer the second part of your question, when you purchase a territory, it's a collection of zip codes that equates to at least 15,000 seniors or more. And that varies based off of, the size of the territory, how dense the seniors are. We look at the demographics, but the
Right.
definition of a territory is a collection of zip codes with a certain amount of seniors.
Yeah, in some areas that could be a 5 mile radius, and other areas that could be a 7 to 10 mile radius, regardless. But a territory is a territory.
That's right. We've got some territories, for example, in Florida, where it's 1 or 2 zip codes that equates to like 75,000 seniors. And then we've got some territories in other parts of the United States where it spans 100 miles and,
Yeah,
hundreds of zip codes.
yeah, love
So
it.
yes, it varies.
So Jen, my favorite question is, you're in charge of franchise development. So who is the ideal individual? And usually what I also ask is, if you're going to look at your top 10% of high performing franchisees in the system, what do they look like? What did they do before joining Right at Home?
Mhm. So I wouldn't say what they did before right at home totally varies. I mean, we've got people that didn't have any home care experience, some that do, some that had management experience, business ownership experience, some that didn't. However, the thing that they have in common the most, and what we look for when we award franchises to individuals, of course, it's helpful to have all of those things. You have to be financially qualified, but it is so important that you have to have some type of passion for serving others.
Yes.
Without that, it's going to be very difficult for you to really thrive in this business.
Hard to
Look at
fake it.
That's right. That's right. And looking at like our top tiered franchise owners, the number one thing that they all have in common is that they stay very engaged with us, the franchisor.
Yeah.
Every single one. If you look at the franchise owners that aren't in that top tier, they aren't as engaged. It's crystal clear. They're the ones that are taking advantage of all of the tools, the resources, the processes, the procedures, all of our webinars, our town halls, the annual conference. They are engaged. They are active. They are
Yeah.
participating. They're very involved in their business. That's really what you're gonna that you will thrive at a right at home business if that's how you operate.
Great. Now, how do you ensure that you have the right individuals? Describe your process Obviously, in any franchise selection process or discovery process, if I refer somebody to you, there's a first phone call. I always call that the coffee date, and it gets more serious. You know, you meet corporate folks. Do you guys do like a meet the team day or discovery day? Talk about validation. Describe that a little bit.
Yes, so upon initial phone call with one of our development directors, just some preliminary questions just to make sure that you meet the general qualifications. The next step, you fill out our application, which we call our personal profile. After completing that personal profile, we're gonna have a phone call to review that. It goes into a little bit more detail with work history, a financial snapshot, education, a few like background check type of questions, yes or no answers. We review that, and if everything looks good, you go into 2 different webinars with one of our development directors. The first one is the business overview. That is a 20-slide PowerPoint presentation. I call it Right at Home 101. It just generally explains our business model, everything from the history to the types of services that we provide, some financial numbers, a very easy to digest way of presenting our brand to candidates that may not know really what Right at Home is.
Yeah.
The next step is reviewing our franchise disclosure document, which I know that there are some franchise systems that are like, here's the FDD, let me know if you have any questions. We most definitely do not do that. We go through all 23 items in the FDD so that candidates fully understand each item and an opportunity to ask any questions and get a full download on our FDD. After that is franchisee validation, and the part of the process that we absolutely shine. The feedback that I get from individuals who do franchisee validation, it just warms my heart to hear that when they ask the question, would you do this all over again? And I have yet to hear anybody say, no, I wouldn't. But our franchisee satisfaction is so incredibly high. And it's really validating for our prospects when they hear from franchise owners how much they love their business and how much they are supported. Then after franchisee validation, they have a phone call with me. We call it the Invitation to Discovery Day phone call with me. It's a way for me to meet these individuals before they come to Discovery Day. And I'm looking for things like, are they ready to come to Discovery Day? Have they done all their research? Have they talked to enough franchise owners? Once they are invited to Discovery Day, our Discovery Days are 100% virtual. So it starts at around 9 a.m. Central Time, ends at around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. Various virtual meetings, group meetings in the morning, individual meetings in the afternoon. And these are group Discovery Days. So there are multiple people attending in a virtual meeting space. But they meet with every executive at our corporate headquarters, plus a lot of subject matter experts. So who their project manager is going to be, who their coach is going to be, who their online marketing specialist is going to be. So we really do customize it so that these individuals meet the leadership team and who they're going to be working with on a daily basis. But also on the flip side, allowing the leadership team and everybody else that's involved in Discovery Day to really get to know these individuals. Every time I say, this is a two-way street, it's mutual Discovery Day. We are checking you out to see if you are a good fit for our brand. And I am hopeful that you are doing the same.
Yeah.
So then after Discovery Day, that's when we decide, are you the right fit for our system? And even the feedback that we get on the overall experience, the process, the Discovery Day, we pride ourselves on being very thorough, very transparent. And it's worked out great. We did do in-person Discovery Days before COVID. We transitioned to virtual. And we've kept it that way. And I don't see us changing. Maybe, who knows, things change. But for right now, it's working, and we really do love the process.
Sponsored by Leap Brands. From executive recruiting to hourly staff, Leap is your one-stop shop for all of your franchise talent. All right. So people come from all walks of life. It seems like that is the case for all franchise brands. And do you have to be a full-time owner operator? Do you allow any kind of part-time ownership if there's a manager that they hire and train? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so right out of the gate, we do require owner operator business model because we want you as the franchise owner to learn everything there is to learn about this business. You're one person, you can't do everything, but you need to at least be taught and trained how to do everything. So initially, right out of the gate, we do require owner-operator business model. We do have some franchise owners who have been in the business for several years, they've got their business established. It's humming right along, and they're able to step away more than they were when they first started in the business, and they can hire an operations manager
Yeah.
to oversee the day-to-day. But make no mistake, they are still involved in the business, just not on a day-to-day full-time capacity.
Yeah, we like the humming like right along stage. We like that.
Yes.
So when you have somebody selected, it's agreed upon, you're going to get married, they're going to sign a franchise agreement and become a franchisee. Describe what the training process is like.
Yes.
Is it online? I mean, obviously there's some in-person training as well.
Yep. So we don't miss a beat. As soon as you sign your franchise agreement and pay your franchise fee, we start in right away. We want to get you open as soon as possible, and we know that you want to open your business as soon as possible. So it's a combination of virtual online training, some of it self-led, some of it instructor-led, several weeks of that leading up to what we call Residence Week. That's an entire week in person here in Omaha for in-person training. And then you would open your business shortly after Residence Week. Of course, the duration of that training varies based off of if you are in a licensure state or not. We do require that you have your license in hand before you come to Omaha to Residence Week.
And you'll help them everything with licensing. So if I have somebody literally in any state, you know all the licensing requirements and what the
Yes.
process would be.
Yep, we have 2 people full-time on staff here at Right at Home that do nothing but assistance with licensure. They're experts on VA, you name it. We've got specific people here to help. And that's a great thing to call out, Lance. There's so many people that come to us that say, I have no idea where to even start when it comes to applying for a license.
Yeah.
Where do I even start? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know that answer, but we have 2 people who work here full time, and that's all that they do. And we have hired them to specifically help you and support you through
Yeah.
that.
I always tell people when you join a franchise, because common question that you and I both get is, why do I need a franchise? I can do this on my own. And
Mhm.
I always smile and say, you can do anything on your own. This is America. However, do you want to feel supported? Do you want to feel like you have this giant mastermind, this collaboration, a whole bunch of people
Yeah.
there to support you on a regular basis? Just pick the right franchise for yourself. And it obviously you guys have all that support.
Yes. And you and I probably are not the best people to ask because I believe I'm speaking for you, Lance. We're partial to franchising. I can't imagine starting a business from a home care business from absolute scratch. It
Yeah.
terrifies me,
Yeah.
but that's me. That's my opinion. I've been in franchising for several years. There's just so much that we do to help and support you, not only getting your business started, up and running, but for the duration of your business as you are a franchise owner.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
That goes right into my marketing question. I have a gentleman that I've been working with who is debating what he's going to be doing with his next phase of his life. But it's so funny because he and his wife started their own home care, not franchise, started their own independent home care company. And
Yeah.
he said it was a nightmare. They did get some traction, but
See?
every time they were trying to get accounts, they'd run into franchises and they'd lose the account and
Yeah.
they just wouldn't be able to fulfill their obligations, and the staff didn't like working just for them because there was so many other bigger franchise brands out there
Mhm.
where they felt maybe more at home. So I said to him, I said, maybe now is the time that you should use that experience and become a home care franchisee. And he's
Mhm.
thinking about that. So
Mhm.
maybe
Great.
I'll be introducing you. So let's
That
talk a little
sounds
bit about marketing because
okay.
that is a big piece. A lot of people are always questioning me. Well, what do they do with my marketing dollars? How do they spend it? How do they help me? So describe what Right at Home does on the marketing front.
Yes. Okay. So we've got a 5% royalty that you pay, and then a 2% marketing. We call it a brand fund fee that you pay. And where do those marketing dollars go?
Where do
Um,
they go, Jen?
where
Tell us.
where do they go? So I'm not even sure where to begin on this. I mean,
Highlights are fine.
a lot of places. Okay. So, because we are a national brand, your dollars go to national advertising, of the Right at Home brand, looking for, consumer marketing, looking for those clients to sign up for right at home services. And then there is a portion of local marketing for you to use to advertise for right at home services in your territory, as well as you have an online marketing specialist. So we help with, all the social media, the website, a lot of things that people like marketing. Well, that's, a television ad, and it's so much more than that. Think of everything online, your own website, your own social media, everything, because people are, a lot of them are finding our services on the internet versus, you'll still see us on, the Hallmark Channel at Christmas time. It's a place that we get a lot of business from. But anyway, it's everything from the marketing that you actually see out there in the public, plus everything that you see online.
Got it. Wonderful. So you have the person trained, you launch their location, marketing, grand opening, the whole 9 yards. What does the ongoing support look like? Is there one person assigned to a certain amount of franchisees? Is it a success coach? What do you guys call that?
Yes, we call him a business performance coach. I know every franchise system kind of, calls him something different, but for us, it's a business performance coach. And that is the person that is assigned to you as your point person. You are going to set up regular meetings, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, depending on the type of support that you need. It's a lot more hands-on, of course, when you first start. And then as you get going, that will become less and less because you become a little bit more self-sufficient. But that support continues. It's ongoing. But that coach is your point person. Plus, we call, a lot of subject matter experts kind of behind the scenes. So the coach isn't going to be able to assist with if there's an issue with your website, you have a specific online marketing specialist who's going to help you with that. So, and you name the department, there's going to be some type of a subject matter expert that's there to help the franchise owner with whatever they're dealing with.
Fabulous. I love it when a plan comes together. Let's talk about the money, the show me the money segment. A lot of people listening are like, Jen, this sounds great. It's a needed industry. Obviously, there's 15,000 people turning 65 every day in America. So
Yeah.
this is a business with hockey stick growth just simply because of all the seniors entering the fray, so to speak.
Yeah.
So what does your item 19 show? And let me preface that to the audience by saying that Jen mentioned the franchise disclosure document. Every franchise brand will issue that to you in the process. Item 19 of the 23 items is the earnings claim. Used to be called financial representations. And most brands will show some sort of sales figures. So Jen, what is your latest and greatest one showing?
Yes. So to put a timestamp on this, it is March 29th, 2024. We just released our 2024 FDD 2 days ago. So this is hot off the press.
Love it.
So what I can tell you, and generally if you look on our website and all of our marketing materials, we can disclose the average net billings is what we call it of an average office. And our 2024 FDD is 1.5 million is the average net billings for a typical right at home office.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I've had a lot of people validate with quite a few brands over the years across the home care spectrum. And people are amazed to know that they're typically investing 150,000. And I could say this because it's Lance saying this, the consultant, not Jen at Right at Home, that I have all kinds of clients that are amazed. I can invest $150,000 or less, including working capital. And potentially, I know people making $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year. I know a guy netting $1 million a year with a home care franchise. So some of that has to do with the individual. We know that, and other parts, the brand gives you that sort of start. But Jen, why should people consider Right at Home with all the other options? I guess I tend to ask, what's the secret sauce of Right at Home? I know it's a big brand, and that's wonderful, and that is a great positive right there.
Yep. My answer is the same every time people ask me this, Lance, and I go back to franchisee validation. I can tell you everything there is to know about Right at Home. I can teach someone all about our business model, and we do all these awesome things. But people who are exploring Right at Home as a business opportunity, you don't really get it until you talk to our franchise owners. Okay.
Yes.
So then when you talk to our franchise owners, hearing their stories about, I am fully supported by the corporate office. Everything that they said was going to happen is actually happening. This culture is amazing. My neighbors are awesome. We work so well together. The annual conference is a you cannot miss event. I mean, the glowing endorsement that we get from our current franchisees speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's the case for other franchise systems, maybe, maybe not, but for us, that is 100% the case. And
Yeah.
I couldn't be more proud of what we have done here to help and support our franchise owners. And I feel so proud to be able to help people become part of this business and to become entrepreneurs.
Awesome. What are some of the hot territories still open that maybe you're going to fill at least one spot or more, get to that 400th franchisee in the United States or 400th location. But what are some of the hot territories you're looking to fill?
Well, you know what? It's really hard for me to answer that question because here in the United States, with us being a 25-year-old brand, it's not like we have thousands of territories left in the United States. Make no mistake, we have plenty left to sell. I'd say give or take between 250 and 300 territories
Oh,
left to
nice.
sell in the United States. However, our focus is all of those territories. Every
Got
single
it.
one of those territories has seniors and adults with disabilities that need care.
Yeah.
So my recommendation, we've got the public map on our website that anybody can go to our website and see available territories. You can zoom in, you can click on the actual territory, you can see the demographics. So if you have a specific state that you want, you can go there and take a look.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned that, with the growing population of seniors, no doubt that, obviously the territories are growing. And I would imagine you already said in the statistics, there are quite a few multi-unit franchisees,
Mhm.
which obviously is a great sign that people are buying another territory so they have room to grow. And, we
Mhm.
don't want people to be stagnant.
Uh-huh.
So, what are your final thoughts, final words of wisdom? You shared so much great information. Talk about tips and how to explore franchise, or whatever you feel like.
Yeah. So the tip that I always give if you're out there shopping for a franchise, there are people that we turn away. Right at home franchise ownership isn't the right fit for them. I'm confident if you're looking for a franchise, there is the right fit out there for you. But do your research and take your time to do your research. It's okay. You're never going to be waiting on us for anything. We will wait for you if you need some additional time to do your research. But
Yeah.
um, again, I'm partial. I absolutely love this business, and there is such a huge, huge need for it now. And that need is going to grow even larger with the baby boomer population
Yeah.
and how people are going to age over the course of the next 10 years. So I feel like we're still just scratching the surface on senior care, and the opportunity is here now, and it's going to increase even further in the future.
Yeah, I love that. Now that I think about it, there's one really important question I didn't ask you that I know a lot of people are going to be wondering.
Okay.
Labor, staff. A lot
Ah,
of people are concerned that these days staffing is more difficult than ever. Now, I don't necessarily believe, I've owned a lot of businesses, and I think staffing is always the most difficult part, especially if you've never hired people before. How
yep.
does Right at Home help, especially first-time business owners, in the staffing scenario?
Yep.
How
And you're
difficult is it?
Yep, you're right, Lance. I would say some franchise owners do have challenges with caregiver recruitment and retention. But make no mistake, there are a lot of franchise owners that do not. And there's a reason for that. But to
Yeah,
answer your question, we've got a ton of help and support in place to help our franchise owners with caregiver recruitment. So how do you find them? So you have to have an applicant tracking system. You have to respond to those ads. You've got to, you have to stay on top of it. There's a ton of resources that we provide to just help recruit caregivers.
yeah,
Then once you get them, you have to retain them. So
yeah.
what are some helpful tips for caregiver retention? So we always say it's important to care for the people that you're providing services for, but you as a franchise owner, you have to care for your caregivers as well. Create that culture where they feel appreciated, they feel wanted, they feel respected, they feel needed. It's just as important to care for those caregivers as much as you care for those clients.
I love it. I'm sensing a theme here. You need to care. You need to care.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you have a problem.
That's right.
Jen, you were fabulous. Thank you for being here. Jen Chaney, right at home.
Thank you, Lance.
My pleasure.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.